It's another Restaurant Mastermind here on LinkedIn. Doug Smith. I'm talking with Daniel Dailey, franchise owner of Johnny's Pizza. And Daniel, first off, thank you for joining in. Second, you're in Georgia. You're in Roswell, Georgia, I believe, one of the first states to start reopening, if you will, in the restaurant space. So what are you seeing? What are you experiencing? And what are your thoughts as we start thinking about post-virus?
Well, I know most restaurant owners, like myself, are still very weary about being first, and by that I mean being first to reopen. I know there's been some pushback from some polls I did on social media, just to try to get an idea of what our guests might want, and for the most part, a lot of people were very apprehensive about even going to a restaurant. So I'm definitely not wanting to be the first in that market. But with that being said, we do most of our business, probably 60% already, is to go and carry out and delivery and third party. So we are willing to go, a little bit longer before we rush to table service.
Are there any extra measures that you are taking or you think restaurants should take when it comes to how to let the public know that you're open? Is there anything special that you have to do regarding those steps?
Well, I think myself, I know a lot of restaurants should. I don't know if they all are from the ones I follow, but constant communication on social media to let people know. And I don't know if they have like email lists that they can use, but I have a very extensive email list that I can use to communicate with my guests constantly. So I do my best to let them know what we're doing, how we're doing it, and what kind of time frame we're working with. And right now we're staying closed to table service indefinitely, and we are making the exception of allowing to go guests to sit on the patio that we have, but only to go food. We're not doing table service still, so we're just trying to work around what we can to accommodate a little bit of everybody.
All right, now you've been a restaurant owner for a while and you went through the '08 recession. So, was there anything from that economic downturn that you learned that has helped you to adapt and make it through the current economic crisis?
A little bit, yes, but mostly it I guess kind of reassured me as a restaurant owner, and specifically of a pizza restaurant owner, that when it comes to tough times, people tend to go with comfort food, and in a lot of cases, pizza is a comfort food, and it allows people to feed a whole family on a budget. We definitely saw a growth in sales in 2008, and we haven't really seen the growth this time around. But we also haven't seen a huge decrease in sales like I know a lot of restaurants have. So it's definitely been a little eye opening into the at least the marketplace that I'm in and pizza.
Got it. You mentioned earlier, as an answer to my first question, you talked about third party, and it seems like, from my perspective, third party delivery is like a huge lightning rod. You either love it or you hate it from a restaurant standpoint or from a customer standpoint. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of middle ground. What's your perspective on third party? Positive, negative? How do you use it? As you said, it is a big chunk of your business. So I would imagine you look at it from a positive light.
Yeah, a little bit positive, a little bit negative. Same as pretty much everybody else. Definitely think that, excuse me, if everyone's using the tools that they can correctly, they can use it as a marketing platform as well. We do our own delivery, so we have been using it as a way to capture their audience with coupons to try to bring them to our online ordering platform. And it's been pretty successful so far. During the last 5 weeks, I've seen about a 10% increase uh, in in my online ordering, as well as about a probably honestly 100% increase in third party ordering. So I know that they have a large customer base, and having access to those via delivery, or even marketing to them on pizza box top coupons, or even coupons you can stick into go bags to invite them back to your restaurant and for dine-in, has been a pretty big response in the past. So I'm hoping we can carry that forward and use that same marketing technique to bring guests that we've acquired now to be guests in the future for dine-in. And I think it'll pay forward very well. So I'm looking forward to that.
You mentioned earlier too, you had referenced the fact that you have a database and you're emailing your customers. The one thing that I've found outside of the typical VIP program where someone only has just an email, they don't really understand who their customers are. They don't really have the ability to dive deep into any kind of a database if they have anything at all. How big of an advantage, or how has it helped you to have that database? And it sounds like you're on top of it. You've used it. You stayed in front of people. You've connected with your customers. How big of an advantage is that for you during a time like this? And how has that aspect helped?
It's huge, and I've over the last this restaurant specifically, I've had open for almost 4 years. July will be 4 years. The entire time, I've responded to every email, every complaint. I've responded to every Facebook post or question. I've responded to feedback on Yelp and Google and Facebook. So I've always been very big into contact and information. And the more that I get and the more that I put myself out there, the more I've seen a positive return in that. And I've done I feel like I've done a very good job of making sure that my guests know me and know that I care about what they think and what they want. So having the ability to contact them and let them know that this is what we're doing, this is our time frame, this is what we're doing for sanitation purposes, for your safety. But really, a lot of the stuff that we're doing is for the safety of my staff, because we can't operate without my employees showing up to work, which is huge for me, because that keeps me in business, that pays my bills, and it keeps my staff living in their houses and paying rent. So we do a lot of stuff to make sure that everyone's taken care of, and I'm glad that I have that platform to do it.
Cool. Last question for you. Since you've been in the restaurant industry, you've been an owner for a while. Let's say someone's watching this right now and they bought into a franchise, or they opened a restaurant 2 years ago when the economy was rocking and rolling, and this is their first time that they've ever gone through any kind of turmoil, so to speak. Any recommendation or recommendations that you would have to somebody in that position who's watching this right now, as someone who's been there, done that, and been able to survive it?
Definitely. I would definitely recommend, as an owner, if you're comfortable talking, taking advantage of how cheap ad space is on Facebook, or even Instagram for that matter. Just because you can communicate with your guests, and you can do it very affordably on those platforms, and it's worth every penny if you know what you're doing and you're comfortable doing it. And if you're not, just find an employee that's comfortable talking in front of a camera, and allow them to be their quirky selves, and communicate with the guests what you guys are doing and how you guys are doing procedures to keep everybody safe.
Excellent. Good stuff. Daniel Dailey, franchise owner, Johnny's Pizza. He's in Georgia, one of the first states opening up. I would imagine that you would be cool with anyone watching this, and if they're not connected with you on LinkedIn, you and I are first connections, by the way, that they could reach out to you and maybe send you an email and ask you some questions or things that might be on top of their mind, maybe you and I didn't address.
Correct. I'm very big into contact, so I like helping anybody that I can. I have a lot of local people that I know manage restaurants and own restaurants, and any advice I can give them, I look forward to that confirmation, that contact. So yeah, reach out if you want to email me, Johnny's Pizza Roswell at yahoo.com, or you can DM me on LinkedIn or Facebook.
Sounds good. Daniel Dailey, thank you so much for your time, sir. I appreciate it. Best of luck moving forward.